All right, everybody. So, recently, ex-CNN host Don Lemon had his contract with X terminated due to, I don't know, being too woke or something. I actually don't know all the details of this. I haven't seen this interview yet. Um, and afterwards, I guess, Elon agreed to do like a debate or like an interview with Don Lemon. And Elon apparently got really upset and melted down in that interview and has been getting massively dunked on over it. I've yet to see this. I've actually avoided even clips of this conversation so that I could watch it with you guys completely blind. So I've got it queued up here. You're upsetting me. See Elon Musk react to Don Lemon's question before cutting ties with him. Oh, I guess maybe he canceled the contract after this interview as like a rage cope move. That would be even funnier, actually. Like, oh, you made me look bad on TV, so now I'm going to cancel your X contract. How petty.
All right, new this morning, former CNN anchor Don Lemon just released his...
Also, Elon Musk has spent like the last 3 months just replying, wow, very interesting to Holocaust denial posts on Twitter. So, like, I have zero sympathy for the dude crying on TV.
Full interview with Elon Musk, and now we are getting some insight into why the X, formerly Twitter, owner abruptly scrapped Don Lemon's deal with the social media platform right after the interview wrapped. CNN, I mean,
yeah, so I feel like this whole situation is probably the best piece of evidence that Elon Musk is a Nepo baby that you could ever hope for, because a real capitalist would know that when life gives you Don Lemons, you make Don Lemonade.
Senior media reporter Oliver Darcy joins us now. Oliver, tell us more about this interview. I mean, we saw some clips late last week that seemed pretty fiery. How was the rest of it?
Yeah, Jim, it's a window into who Elon Musk is and how he thinks. And I think what the big takeaway is you're seeing really how radicalized by the right wing Elon Musk, one of the most consequential people living on Earth, has become. I mean, during this interview, he attacks the news media. He misleads on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. He equates moderating hate speech, really vicious hate speech, on the X platform to censorship. He lashes out again.
Well, it is censorship, technically. Like, that is, by definition, censoring. It's just that moderation and censorship is a dirty word. The internet and, like, the right-wing sort of hyper-obsessive with, like, justifying everything with the whole free speech thing has kind of turned the idea of censorship, or the word censorship, into a dirty word. But if you actually ask people for a list of things that, like, most people agree is bad and whether it should be censored on these platforms or censored in general, they'll agree. Nobody, or I should say, nobody who should be taken seriously would disagree with the idea that child porn should be banned from Twitter and censored. Obviously, that should be censored. Like, gore stuff that's just meant to be posted for the sake of harassment. Obviously, I think most would agree it's fine to censor that and to punish that. Like, most people, even those that fall for the censorship is bad always thought process, if you actually push them on that, most of the time, they will cede the fact or cede the ground that there are many cases in which even they agree censorship, both legally and on private platforms, is completely justified. It's just a matter of what behavior, material, and speech do they consider so awful that there's really no positive outcome that can happen, allowing that material to stay online and have a platform. And everybody has a different line. Everybody has a different line. And if you find that line and you push people on it, they'll usually waver at least a little bit on their free speech absolutist positions, because nobody is a free speech absolutist. Nobody is. Not through and through.
And to advertisers who left the platform following his anti-Semitic endorsement, which he only walked back after he had lost effectively a lot of money when those advertisers left. And most disturbingly of all, perhaps, is he...
Musk on hate speech. If no one reads it, it doesn't matter. Yes, you know that, obviously. That's why you boost it, and you want it to matter. So you boost the shit out of hate speech on your platform.
Continues to advance some conspiratorial notions, particularly one on the Great Replacement theory. This is a racist theory that has been cited by people who have committed mass shootings across the country. Elon Musk says he doesn't believe in the theory, but then he gives a significant amount of credence to it. Let's take a look.
You're conflating two things. One is Great Replacement theory. The other is, which I don't subscribe to that. I'm simply saying that there is an incentive here. If legal immigrants, which I think have a very strong bias to, at least everything I've read, it's a very strong bias to vote Democrat. The more that come into the country, the more they're likely to vote in that direction. It is, in my view.
I love that Republicans, in an attempt to try to like make the Great Replacement theory a brand safe thing to push broadly, their way of doing that is to claim we're not against immigration and like brown people coming into the country and outnumbering white people potentially because of, you know, white genocide or anything. It's just brown people tend to vote Democrat more often, and, you know, we don't want non-Americans coming in and, you know, weighing our elections. Right now, obviously, like, he's referring to illegal immigration in many cases because, like, a lot of Republicans think that most immigration is illegal immigration. That's just looked the other way by Democrats, which it's very much not. Just objectively and statistically, that's the case. Like, the Democrats just kind of run our government better, and our government has never been pro-open borders. So under Democrats, ironically, we've seen more deportations than under Republicans. Like, Obama deported more immigrants than Bush, and Biden has deported more illegal immigrants than Trump. And it's not because Biden or Obama had, like, a more harsh policy against illegal immigration. It's just that under Democrat rule, everything just tends to run a little better, you know? Like, everything seems to perform a little better across our government, even the bad stuff that we don't like. The systems of our government that we don't want to support, those even run better under Democrat rule. So it's like kind of a thing. Yeah, Biden the secret mega racist. No. Obviously, like, America has never been pro-open borders. It's always been illegal to illegally immigrate. And the Democrats have never just been like, oh, we're looking the other way. If people are seeking asylum, that is different from illegally immigrating. What the right does is they hyper-focus on asylum seekers. They show footage of asylum seekers, and they're like, oh, look, this is illegal immigration. This is what illegal immigration looks like. And they'll show, like, a bunch of asylum seekers crossing the border. The fact is, most illegal immigrants in this country are just overstaying visas. And this isn't a purely American problem either. Like, I've known people who have overstayed visas in other countries. It's just a thing that is the most common way of doing illegal immigration, because you legally enter the country, and then from there, at a certain date, you're not supposed to be there anymore, but it's kind of hard to track you down and send you out after that expiration date, you know? So it's like, yeah, time flies when you're having fun. I totally forgot. Better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the right's just delusional about this. And the funny thing as well is, to make the Great Replacement theory more brand safe, they say it's not about, like, racial genocide or superiority or whatever. It's about, like, brown people voting Democrat more. And it's like, is that supposed to be an own? Like, your whole argument is that the right isn't racist, the Republicans aren't racist, and yet you still can't get around the fact that overwhelmingly non-white people vote Democrat because they're not stupid and they can see that you guys fucking hate them and don't represent them. Like, you can't even formulate your conspiracy theory around a concept that does not outright state that Americans who are not white recognize how racist you are already as a Republican.
And a simple incentive to increase voters, to Democrat voters.
So you can see there, Jim, he rejects the name of the theory that he effectively then describes and gives a lot of credence to. Of course, that's worrisome to experts who point out that this theory can and has led to violence in the past.
No, it's
Yeah, I mean, for example, the Christchurch shooters manifesto, which was like, what, 100 pages or something, was literally called The Great Replacement and had, like, the Black Sun logo, like, as the main centerpiece for the cover of the manifesto. That was the neo-Nazi who said, subscribe to PewDiePie, and then live-streamed killing 50 people in a church or a mosque in Christchurch. Because he was convinced that Muslim immigrants were destroying New Zealand and the rest of the quote-unquote white Western world. And he wrote about his influences, one of them, weirdly enough, being Candace Owens. But yeah, it's just not even a secret. The Great Replacement is a Nazi conspiracy theory, and it is one designed specifically to lead those that believe in it to the conclusion that violence is the only option.
It's absolutely an important.
That is the idea behind stochastic terrorism, to be very clear here. You can't get away with calling for direct violence. That's not legal. You're not able to do that. So if somebody wants to do that, the way they have to do this is by pushing ideas and arguments that would reasonably only lead one who believes them to the final conclusion that violence is all you can do to stop whatever injustice you've been convinced is happening. For example, how many conservatives claim that trans people existing is harming children. Once you've hammered that in enough and people believe it, you have enough crazy-ass people who believe they have to hurt trans people to save kids. And it's not just that they're crazy and violent, it's that they're crazy, violent, and they believe they'll be doing the right thing if they hurt trans people. Or insert any other group. Like for the Christchurch shooter, it was Muslims.
Subject, and I guess, Oliver, you know, folks might be wondering why are we giving so much time to this interview that Don did with Elon Musk, but we don't hear from Elon Musk all that much in these kinds of interviews. So, I mean, the information that Don got out of Musk is actually very important. He runs a very influential.
I want to see the interview itself. It's so hard to find. Don. Maybe we can find Don Lemon Show. I wonder if he has, like, an official YouTube channel. He's gotta, right? Yeah. Yeah. Is this it? Oh, wow. The whole thing is over an hour long. He did post 2 clips of it, though.
Let's talk
We'll watch the 2 clips that are the spiciest that he posted.
about trans rights and the woke mind virus, because you talk about that a lot.
The
You're right
woke
about
mind
that
virus,
a lot on the
God.
thing. You have been deeply outspoken about the issue.
I remember back in 2019 when the term woke was really starting to blow up as an insult among, like, geeks and gamers in the quartering. It makes me wonder if, like, those grifter types are where, like, all the right-wing culture war stuff from here on out is going to start, and within a year you'll see anything that they come up with, like, being repeated by elected officials and Elon Musk and, like, the richest and most powerful people in the world. From, like, random grift tubers to presidents.
Of trans rights, you posted trans rights. You posted that pronouns in bio mean the woke mind virus ate your brain. Do you know what the term woke actually means?
It's come to mean a lot of things.
But what it actually,
A fantastic question, one that no conservative can answer with a definition that applies to, like, more than 3 things that they call woke. Because they'll call things that are completely contradictory of each other woke. They'll say that, like, racism is woke. Like, they'll literally say that wokeness is racist, while also saying that, like, representing, like, brown people in media for pandering is also racist. Or not racist, is woke. So it's like, being woke is racist, but it's also when you are performatively not racist. There is no definition of woke they can give that's consistent with their usage of it. To them, woke he's not wrong when he says it has a combination of meanings, because when they use woke, it serves two purposes. So anything that is progressive that they don't like is woke, right? That is a fundamental truth they will always keep forward. But they need to make that word and the association of a thing being woke a bad thing on its own. Like if a thing is seen as woke, its association with wokeness should tarnish its reputation and make it be seen as bad, right? And so from there, they call things that are bad, that most people agree are bad, woke. So on one hand, right-wingers call a drag queen story hour woke. Nothing bad happens. It's just a, appropriately dressed, but still quite silly and over the top, drag queen reading books to kids, right? And they also do these, like, for the record, the right likes to say, like, why do they always want to read books to kids? The drag queen story hour thing, they do it at, like, senior homes primarily. Like, the two main places where they do these are senior homes and public libraries where kids go, because those are the two groups of people that volunteering to do that kind of, like, live reading thing for is going to be the most, like, resonant with. And surprisingly enough, seniors actually kind of like drag queens a little bit. They think it's fun, right? They like the color and the excitement. It's something new. They're kind of bored and miserable, especially in nursing homes and stuff. So many of these drag queens volunteer, and they do drag queen story hour in nursing homes and hospitals and, like, care facilities, not just for kids, to old people that are in, like, end-of-life care. So I feel that's worth mentioning. But even if they were just reading to kids, they'll take an issue like that. They'll say, that's woke. Nothing wrong with that, right? But then they'll see an issue where, let's say, a guy who happens to be gay molests a kid. Nobody agrees with this. Nobody on the left certainly agrees with this. But they had an instance where someone who was gay, or even if somebody they could claim was gay with no evidence whatsoever, maybe the guy just looked a certain way, or there was, like, a post or like a made-up, like, thing they photoshopped and managed to get circulated enough before the truth could catch up. What's the saying? A lie makes it halfway around the world before the truth has had time to tie its shoelaces. So if it's one of those cases, then they'll just be able to, claim that is woke. So here's a thing that everyone agrees is bad, left and right. They'll call that woke. But then they'll also call completely fine, innocuous, non-harmful things the left supports woke, in order to make it so as such that the wokeness thing, the definition or the insult of calling a thing woke, acts as a bridge between innocuous, non-harmful behaviors and actions and things that everybody agrees are bad. All the while strawmanning the left and claiming the left endorses insert super bad thing that they claim is woke, such as, like, here is a story where a gay guy molested a kid, right? The right has always used instances like these to misrepresent and strawman the left. I mean, I'm not saying it's anything new. I'm just saying this is what they do. Yeah, I never made a comment on this is what they do now. I'm just saying this is what they're doing.
Originally, it was meant to mean. It's just being aware of inequities in society and being aware of facts and history.
I think being aware of inequities in society is fine, of course. But trying to blame everything.
Elon Musk is the second richest man in the world, I believe now. He lost his spot at first place, if I recall correctly. Like, as one of the richest people in the world, the idea that Elon Musk still tries to play the everyman guy who's, like, fed up with the wokeness, as if it's, like, as if the woke agenda, if it existed, had any ability to impact his life. Once again, it's the same thought process behind why people support Trump. They're convinced that if they get behind somebody that they've been convinced is a winner, then being on a winner's team makes them a winner. It's the same thought process behind bandwagoners in sports, the types of people who like follow a sport, but they don't have any team affiliation, and the team that they root for is whichever team is doing the best every season. And so they just want to be on whatever team is winning, and they don't have any actual, like, affiliation or loyalty to a particular team. They're just trying to jump on to, like, the bandwagon of whoever is getting the most hype right now. They want to be on the winning team. that is essentially the sports version of what's happening in politics with those that support the likes of Trump and Elon Musk. They've been convinced that these macho man successful guys who have pushed themselves at this like as high value men that every man should want to be, they're convinced that if they support them, then like somehow their success trickles down to them. It's like this thought process of, if I'm against this rich, successful guy, even if he's an asshole, that makes me look jealous and like I'm like coping or whatever. But if I support him and I act like he's cool, then no one will think I'm jealous, and they'll think they'll think I'm secure in who I am, and maybe I'll end up like Elon one day. I don't want to be a hypocrite. Like I feel like that's sort of the script of thoughts that's running through people's minds when they follow the types like Trump and Elon Musk. This mindset that like it's either come off as a jealous, bitter asshole by being against them, or supporting them and being on the winning team.
On trying to make everything a race issue is, I think, divisive and corrosive to society.
Even as a
So this is obviously a really popular talking point among conservatives, trying to make everything a race issue. It's just a straw man. The left does not make everything a race issue, because if the left made everything a race issue, how could they also make everything a sex issue? And if they make everything a sex issue, how can they also make everything a gender issue? Like, the right will literally just say, the left makes everything about insert topic we're discussing right now. If they were talking about trans stuff, he would have said the left makes everything about trans stuff. But everything can't be about trans stuff, race, and go down the list all the time, every time from the left. It's not simultaneously possible. The thing is, the right tries to play on this weird talking point that when you're on the left and you care about stuff, like you care about injustice, you care about educating yourself on historical contexts that have led us to the point we are in our country's history, they try to push this idea that that is obsessive, that caring about these things is obsessive, unhealthy, and makes you miserable. We watched a Clownfish TV video recently where they tried to push this talking point, that the left is naturally less happy than the right, because to be on the left, you have to care about stuff that like maybe doesn't even affect you. And caring about stuff that doesn't affect you is going to make you miserable, and you just shouldn't. You shouldn't bother. Like, they will just outright say, you are crazy and obsessive for caring about, say, a genocide happening across the world, because, and I quote, it's happening across the world. It doesn't affect you. Why should you care? Fundamentally, many of these people see it as mental illness. Like, they actually see you as mentally ill for caring so much about other people. It's why they call you crazy or insane or obsessed. They see it as mental illness to care so much about people being hurt when that hurt doesn't affect you outside of empathy.
it relates to trans issues, which is what I'm.
Yeah, race or gender or whatever.
You think that society blames everything on racism now?
It blames a lot of things on it, and yeah.
You think that's unfair?
Yeah.
Why?
I think we should not make this a constant subject. I think we need to move on.
Let's talk about trans rights.
My favorite thing about Elon is that he lacks any level of riz whatsoever. He has zero public speaking skill. He stumbles his way through everything. It's not even an ESL thing either. It's literally just he's stupid. He has nothing of value to say. He is a artificially inflated billionaire. Most of his value is hype, empty hype, and he's just not very remarkable. He's actually unremarkable as far as being a person. He is someone who, because of circumstance, has effectively lucked out into being in the position that he's in. And you expect, we're going to hear the richest man in the world speak. You don't expect him to, stutter out a barely coherent argument in a debate. Elon's bad at Kerbal, confirmed. Does he even play Kerbal? I know he's bad at Elden Ring. Holy fuck, I haven't even played Elden Ring, but I just know from playing Souls games that this is dog shit. Elon's Elden Ring build. Dude, I'm not even joking when I tell you I have apolitical friends who dog on Elon for no other reason than this post. Like, I have gamer bro friends that don't give a shit about politics, and the reason they don't like Elon and think he's cringe is because of this post. Because oh my fucking god. Like, what? He's fat rolling. He maxed out his, I wish I could click on it, but he maxed out his mind and his intelligence stats and left his endurance, vigor, strength. I mean, his dex is okay, but like fucking hell. He's not even running a magic-based build. Like, it's just, he's wearing heavy armor with a semi-magic hybrid build, 2 shields weighing him down. Like, bro's maidenless. Bro's absolutely maidenless. I literally have buddies that don't give a fuck about politics that dog on Elon just because of that post.
Okay, so listen, let's talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. All right, that's been a target of yours lately on X. There was a repost of Ben Shapiro that you claim that DEI is killing people. Specifically, you point to medicine. You claim that DEI programs are putting people at risk. Do you really believe this to be?
Is he ESL? He's from South Africa. They speak English there. Wait, no, you're completely right. Why the fuck is Elon like that? Hold on. You're completely fucking right. I've spoken to people from South Africa, and, like, they have cool accents. It's like a mix of British and Australian almost. Like, South African accents sound cool. Elon Musk does not have a South African accent at all. What the fuck is his accent? What is his deal? What? I'm just now putting that together. What the fuck is his accent? He's posh, dummy? No, he's not. That is not how South African accents sound, at least in my experience. He's posh? Is that how posh South African accents sound? Because I thought I thought a posh South African accent sounded like a posh British accent based on my experience. I've spoken to 3 people from South Africa. Okay.
Be true, and what evidence do you have to support it?
What I was referring to there was that if we lower the standards for doctors, such so that they, if the test for a doctor is lowered.
This is not a thing, by the way. My favorite thing is the right at the moment, Elon Musk as well, are trying to claim that Boeing planes having their, like, wings and not their wings, but their doors and shit just go flying, and their landing gear just fall off and fail to deploy or fail to go in when they take off. All these different, like, safety things going under the radar. They're claiming it's because of DEI. Now, the conspiracy started initially partially thanks to this guy.
The
ruining
probability
Twitter.
of them making a mistake and killing someone is obviously going to be.
Anyway, I'll describe the post. You'll just have to believe me that it's real. The conspiracy that DEI is making, like, planes dangerous or whatever started with this post made by a conservative propaganda account on Twitter that was of a video of a plane. It was a very grainy, like, poor quality video where a plane comes into land, and as it comes into land, it, like, hits a sideways turn and then, like, sputters out and falls to its side. Like, it's just like almost a crash landing, like a soft crash landing. And the video is so blurry, you can't really make much out of it, but it was just captioned, "This is what DEI causes." And it wasn't the End Wokeness account, was it? It might have been End Wokeness, yeah. Here's the thing, though. Very quickly, people identified the video. It was GTA 5. There was a reason why the video was made to be so blurry despite where modern phone cameras are, which is what made it so suspicious in the first place. And people figured out it's blurred as hell footage from GTA 5. Obviously, the Arma footage is really popular too. They love using like gameplay from Arma 3 to fake like Ukrainian ships getting sunk or whatever to try to claim that Russia's winning. But the claim that DEI is like harming like the plane industry, like flight. That started with that. Oh, it was Microsoft Flight Simulator. You're right, Astronaut Lad. Sorry, it was Microsoft Flight Simulator, not GTA 6. My bad. My bad. You can understand how I'd confuse the two though, like visually. You know how. If you played both, you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, like it literally, this claim, this conspiracy, all started with a video that was provably fake and taken from a video game, got like debunked, but then the right was like, yeah, let's run with that. And then the Boeing planes started like fucking up because Boeing is like able to get away with anything. The federal government won't hold them to account for anything. And so the right's response is to, instead of allow anyone to get away with pointing out how this is a fault of capitalism and the fact that our lives aren't worth enough for these companies to spend the extra money to ensure we're safe when flying, instead of that, they try to claim, well, you see, these companies are hiring black people to fit race quotas, and now it's causing people to die. This is what happens when you go woke. It's like, did you really find a way to argue that, like, hiring black people equals plane crashes and countless deaths? Is that... You really managed to argue that, all the while saying the left are the real racists? And remember, all the while, when they say this, they maintain the left are the real racists.
We hire them.
Wait, say that again. I'm not sure I understand what you said. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying, actually.
Yes, if the standards for passing medical exams and becoming a doctor, or especially something like a surgeon, if the standards are lowered,
They are.
then the probability that the surgeon will make a mistake is higher. They're making mistakes in their exam. They may make mistakes with people, and that may result in people dying.
What evidence do you have, though, that they're lowering the standards? There's no evidence of that.
I believe there is.
I
There's
believe
no
there
evidence
is.
of that, Elon. What is the evidence?
I believe they have literally lowered the standards at Duke University, and that is what
He can't answer anything.
the article was referring to.
There's no
Are you saying
evidence
they
of
have
that.
not?
What article are you
There's
referring
no
to?
evidence about lowering standards, and I think that there is.
I believe that is a false statement you're making.
Okay, well, we'll
Elon is incapable of arguing. He's so uncharismatic and he's so lacking in rhetorical skill. It's actually insane. It's fucking crazy. Jesus Christ. Obviously, this video has been massively ratioed. It has 222 likes, despite having 6.2k views. And the reason why all the comments are negative and all the dislikes are there is that apparently Mark Dice, the like the boomer right-wing channel that does like conspiracy content, apparently he rated this, as well as like every other conservative YouTuber has shit-talked Don Lemon after this to come out and defend Elon. So Don Lemon's getting like put through the meat grinder right now by the Elon fanboys and the right for this, but I mean, he just objectively creamed Elon here. Like, he just stuttered through everything. I feel like this is one of those great examples of, like, at some points it doesn't matter who performed best in a debate. The loudest people who are talking about who performed best in a debate are always going to be the ones saying their guy won and the guy they don't like lost. It's the people who are quiet, who don't make their responses heard, who are truly having their minds changed, right? Those are the people who maybe heard, like, oh, I kind of heard a good argument from that other guy. Maybe I'm going to think on that for a bit. And they just kind of, those are the quiet people that don't go onto the comments and say, yeah, you destroyed this guy, right? So while there's the loud minority of people who are taking Elon's side, I feel like most people who are going to have seen this are just going to see Elon stuttering and having no ability even to find the word woke, and they're going to see it as embarrassing. At least I would hope so.